My name is Randy Brown. I'm here to tell you or try to help you understand how to stop school shootings and how to prevent them. My background is I'm the father of the family that reported Eric and Dylan to the police 2 years before Columbine and a year before Columbine. And then we lived for 7 years studying Columbine and trying to find out the lies that the police had told. It's a very complicated story, but we're not getting into that today. We lived with the sadness of the Columbine shooting because we investigated it so much and we learned a lot, and I've read and studied it since then. It's been a long time. And every time there's a school shooting, I see the news announcers go, "Why did this happen?" And it's so frustrating to hear that stupid question because there are reasons these are happening and people don't know them. And that's what I'm here to tell you. The reasons why school shootings are happening, how to stop them, and what we need to do to stop them from happening in the future. To begin with, to understand a school shooter, if you want to stop school shootings, first you have to stop any abuse to children. You have to stop parental abuse to children and school abuse to children. Parental abuse is obvious. Report to parents for child abuse. The police intervene. They get to family services and it's addressed. School abuse is quite different. We've been through this. We reported bullying to Columbine and so did many other people. Columbine had a bullying standard that was just a matter of fact. That's the way it was. Kids were bullied, the teachers didn't do anything, the coaches didn't do anything, the principal wouldn't do anything. As a matter of fact, if you'll remember back, the main line from Columbine was, after the Columbine killings, was that there was no bullying in their school, which was, of course, disproven after that with testimony from many, many people. The Jewish kid who was bullied and they said they're going to put him in an oven. Things like that were reported to the principal and nothing was done. So school abuse is much harder to stop, and school abuse is serious. And here's why. Paul Mones, in his book called When a Child Kills, talks about a thing called hypervigilance. I wanted to give him credit because we've met him. What a great author, what a great person, what a great heart. And hypervigilance is the key. So as I'm walking down the school and down the school hallway, and I'm the bully and I knock you to the ground, the first time you're frightened and confused. And the second time I do it, you're frightened and confused and you're looking around and going, why is this happening? No one's stopping this. There's a teacher right there. My friends are right there. And the teachers don't care and the friends are too afraid to intervene. And the bullying continues. So the fifth time then I come up on you in the hallway, I don't need to knock you down. I need to just give you a look and you're afraid. And that's the beginning of this hypervigilance that these teenagers develop. From that point on, everything the bully does and everything the bully's friends do is a reflection on him, on his cowardice, and instills fear in him. So this hypervigilance grows until the school shooter not only hates the bully, he hates the teachers because they don't defend him, he hates the principal, but he hates everyone else in the school. So there's a point where it's not that they hate the bully and they're going to kill the bully. They want to kill the school. The school is the abusive environment. And that you need to stop. You need to stop that completely. A principal can stop that in 5 minutes. Have an assembly and say, there's no bullying in this school. You bully, you're out of here. We're not going to allow it. Any kind. Mental, physical, emotional, on the internet, none of that is allowed. That's simple to stop. But principals don't do that because they want to win football games and they want their jocks to be adored. So when the jock rapes a cheerleader, they don't even want to report it. They don't even want to hear about it. They don't want to hear about the bullying in the school because it will get their athletes in trouble, and not all athletes are bullies, of course, but it'll get their athletes in trouble and they won't win the national championship or whatever matters to them. So, and this is a perspective that people need to get, and this is very simple. Bullying is physical abuse. It's assault and battery. So this bully that's knocking you down in the school, you have rights. You call the police and report this as abuse. It's physical abuse. It's assault and battery. It's a crime. Just because you're 16 or 17 or 18 doesn't make it not a crime. So if you're being bullied, here's a great solution for you. Call the police and demand they arrest the bully, and have your friends film it next time. And then you have proof. That'll stop bullying in a school if your principal won't. So, geez, if you're being bullied, try that first, would you? But we need to understand this hypervigilance. It becomes an overwhelming, controlling factor in these shooters' lives. It determines everything they do. And they're not thinking about the pain they're going to cause or the damage they're going to cause. They're thinking about getting hypervigilant revenge. They want to kill this school. They hate this school. And who could blame them? The school is allowing them to be physically abused and humiliated in front of thousands of other children. And the school's allowing it, the principal's allowing it, the teachers, the coaches, their friends. And there's so much proof that this is the reason that these children do this. Even at Columbine, Eric and Dylan let a kid go in the library. They're killing children in the library, and they let a couple kids go. One of them was their friend who was bullied. When they found out who it was, they went, "Oh, get out of here now. I'm not going to shoot you." So they let some of their friends go in the library, which was part of them playing God, of course, but that's another story. So that's what needs to happen. We need to learn what hypervigilance is, recognize it, and stop it at every level, from when a child is an infant, when he's abused in his house, when he's abused in junior high and in senior high, and even in college. Some of these school shooters are from college too. So next step that needs to happen is police, when they're notified of yellow and red flag behaviors that show hypervigilance, that show a hypervigilant revenge state, need to be proactive. They can't just take the report and go, "Oh, Eric has a gun and a hit list, and that's okay. He's, allowed to do that. It's not a threat." Well, in a school of innocent children, a boy who has guns and a hit list is a threat, and police need to be proactive on that. They need to take that to a judge, get a search warrant. They need to act on those things. And also, some deputies need to be trained in threat assessment. You need a threat assessment expert, or 2 or 3 of them in case someone's on vacation, in every single police department. It's very simple to do. It's reading. It's a couple FBI classes. Threat assessment is very simple. Is he threatening? Does he have the means to act on these threats? If so, we need to intervene. That's pretty simple. That's it. Is he threatening? Does he have weapons? If so, we need to intervene. And that is not that big a reach. Police can be trained to do that. This is a true story. Eric had bought weapons and had a hit list. And a number of kids knew about the hit list. They'd seen it. It was they'd seen it. It had another name, but it was a hit list. A girl's driving home with her mother, and she told her mother, "Eric has a hit list and just bought a weapon." And her mother said, "He's 18, he's allowed to have a weapon," and didn't call the police. And with every school shooting, there are moments in time, little moments in time, that can stop that school shooting. If that mother had gone to the police after we had gone to the police 15 times over Eric, that might have been the one step that made the detective say, "Okay, now I've got a threat here, we have to act." Long, complicated story there. Eric was already in juvenile diversion. A threat like that violates juvenile diversion. He would have been in jail. Couldn't have killed people in jail at the school. So if parents realize what threat assessment, what yellow and red flags are, and they report them to the police, a threat assessment expert can act on them. And this is not happening in police departments anywhere. The way we respond now is, and this is great, the police run into the school and neutralize the shooter, or that's the plan. And I want to cover, because this is one of the ways people think that you prevent school shootings, is arming teachers. I don't know if you've ever been in a combat class with a weapon, or maybe you've been in a firefight when you were in the army in Iraq or Afghanistan. But things change. Your adrenaline takes over. You have a weapon and you're trying to stop the school shooter and you see him and you have tunnel vision. You're myopic. You have tunnel vision. You're looking only at this one person and you're shooting at him. And there are 15 innocent children behind him, which you're going to hit. And teachers can't be trained to the level where they're going to respond in this emergency. They just cannot be trained well enough to respond correctly. And proof of that is the Denver SWAT team at Columbine was unbelievably reckless and dangerous. They almost shot each other. One of them running up to the school, fired his weapon, an AR-223 or AR-15, at the school on automatic setting and at the outside of the school, and did a little arc of bullets in the side of the building. I've seen it on the video, and one of his policemen was standing right in front of him. This is the Denver SWAT team that trains all the time to be ready for SWAT situations, and their adrenaline was so out of control. They fired into the library, into bookshelves, into monitors. They fired down into the back door of the school, where the bullets traveled the entire length of the school, over 100 yards, and buried themselves in the front door of the school. And this is all after Eric and Dylan were dead. They were shooting at shadows. This is the Denver SWAT team. So you think you're going to arm a teacher and he's going to respond better than that? And then just like the current Arapahoe shooting, and I admire the armed and the unarmed police deputy. The unarmed police deputy is a hero. He ran to the school, the sound of shooting, and didn't have a weapon. That's courage. But that's after the fact. The minute the boy went into the school, he killed a girl. That's a casualty that can be avoided. There's no reason to have these casualties if you're proactive in responding to the yellow and the red flags. We're missing the boat there completely. And police departments need to take that and run with that and do something on that. And that's all how to stop a school shooting. And I hope you listen to that information and use it. But this is what you're not going to want to hear. This is what you don't want to hear. We're a violent society. We have been in wars for 100 years in a row almost. We support the war machine. We have millions of dollars going to building jets that we sell to other countries to kill people. We now have drones that kill innocent people in Afghanistan and Iraq. In Vietnam, if you've just read the book, Shoot Anything That Kills, it shows that the My Lai episode was not just one episode, it was one of 100 episodes of that. And we're a violent society. We have guns. Our initial response to everything is violence. We have incredible violence and teach people that the world is dangerous with almost every television show. So, and as an example, The Following is a show that's coming out again where they show the 3 killers getting on a subway car with knives and they're going to kill people and instilling fear in people. And that's a bad lesson. If you're teaching violence, the children that accept that and adhere to the violence, our violent children, are going to kill our innocent children. And it amazes me that surprises people. In a violent society, some children are going to become violent because it's the society, and they're going to kill the innocent and the nonviolent children because they have problems and they have things, the anger that isn't redressed. And I don't understand how people can't see that. So we need to change our overall society. We need to start teaching Martin Luther King and Gandhi and nonviolence in schools. And we need to show people that instead of going into school and killing people, let's have a sit-in in the principal's office and call Channel 4 and have Channel 4 there and address your grievances and say that the principal's not doing his job and that you're being bullied and that the jocks are hurting you and you're physically abused and get something done. And then the police, if they're being proactive, will step in and do that. And that's the way to stop school violence. We're teaching the wrong things. If we teach children in school, all of them, that nonviolence is a constructive way to change things, our society will change and we won't resort to immediate violence. I felt guilty over Columbine because I didn't kill Eric. Eric threatened my son a number of times. And my wife's fear was always that Eric would kill my son, buy a rifle. She reported him for buying a rifle magazine at the store. And she always thought that Eric would use the rifle to kill Brooks because Eric hated Brooks. Again, complicated. And I was upset with myself because I didn't do the John Wayne thing and go out and take the law into my own hands. And we reported it to the police and it failed because the police didn't do their job. But that's a violent response. My first response shouldn't be to be John Wayne. It should be to address the situation civilly and inside our societal boundaries. And we all need to learn that violence, we need to be nonviolent in the way we do things. And then when we're nonviolent and we're not shooting people in all these wars and we're not yelling at people in our cars and the road rage goes away and we learn that as a society, our violent children will learn to be less violent and you won't have school shootings. And if you can't see that, you need to take a deep, dark look inside and ask yourself why violence is so important, why the violent TV shows and the violent books and the scary books are so important. And you need to find a nonviolent solution for yourself. But that's the answer to stopping school shootings. That's the long-term answer. The other methods are things you can do to stop them now. So there you have 15 years of thinking about school shootings every day and reading about it and studying it, the 60,000 pages released in the videos and the tapes, and reading Eric and Dylan's diaries backwards and forwards. There you have the wisdom I've gained from 15 years on how to stop school shootings.